Okay, part 2 of the Zaizen Jotaro review. Now, I'm gone a little further in the episode, mainly just so we can see the rest of it. You can see the ending, of course. I like to show off the ending themes. Okay, so pretty much I've gone over basic story, why it's a bit of an infamous show. As I said, it's kind of unfairly infamous. A lot of people kind of compare it to Gundam Musashi, which really is just a bad show that sometimes feel that might be done bad on purpose, but that was a bad show. That was horrid animation quality. You can definitely see where they're cutting budgets. You know, Zaizen Jotaro is a case where they probably purposely went low budget because they didn't need to have a big budget on this. Now, if you can't tell already, this guy who's being very tricky and his eyes closed, that's obviously, you know, Zaizen. But this is the point now. Okay, now this part, episode 2, this is where they want to, you know, capture Mochizuki. This is where they want to kill him. But anyway, so continue on. We'll talk about the music a little bit. I'll be honest, the opening theme is very catchy. I love the opening theme. Zero no Kimochi by Doha is an excellent opening theme. The ending, it's also a long title, you'll see the ending. The ending theme, you know, works off really nicely for this show. I'll give it credit. Yeah, that's definitely, it works really nicely. The rest of the music on its own, well, I'll let you listen for a little bit. You can hear it a little in the background. See, right at this point, they're trying to hang him. As you can hear it in the background, it's nothing really memorable. It's the kind of song maybe when you'll hear it and then you go, oh, you know, that's kind of a cool song. Maybe it'll be stuck in your head probably for like a little bit, and then you'll just forget about it. Nothing truly, you know, perfectly memorable. See, there's an example of one of the cut-ins. Sorry about that. But, none of the music is really, except for opening and ending, none of the music is really super memorable, but it works for the show. Then I see you saw like a sub in the under the ocean. Yes, the show does go over the top at times, but the first episode kind of puts so much over the topness into that one episode, it just makes you go, "What the hell is this?" While in the rest of the show, you get maybe an over the top moment. Maybe like a little bit in like an episode. Maybe this, and actually episodes 5 and 6, there are no real big over the top moments. And in fact, he doesn't even say "da bomb" in episodes 5 and 6, and he also doesn't do that in episode 9 at all. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, when the show goes over the top, you know, it can go over the top. But in a sense, it kind of almost, when you see it though, once you realize the kind of guy Zaizen is, it kind of like, yeah, you know, he has unlimited funds. He's the kind of guy that unless he feels challenged, he doesn't fully go serious. He's, you know, a bit of a fun-loving guy. So it kind of is like, yeah, it's over the top, but okay. It's not really hurting anyone. It's not really affecting anything too big. Anyway, who is he?
Hanzai Kyousei Torishimarikan Zaizen Jotaro 権力を乱用し、私腹を肥やした権力犯罪者たちを地獄に叩き落とす極刑執行人だ。
Yeah, see, that's a very noble thing. You know, he wants to make sure that government powers are not abused. I've already mentioned that. Of course, you know, he's also the kind of character that all the women fall in love with him, and he gets he gets this woman pretty much because of this. Now she's like, I will follow you, I will help you, and I'll cooperate with you. You know, no matter what, I'll help you with this mission. He gets another female within, I believe, the next episode, episode 3 or 4. I believe episode 3. She's pretty much a person who was personally going after the company because I believe her father was killed because he was starting to get a little too much information. But you know, then she realizes, oh, who are you guys? And she's like, okay, I'll team up with you guys. But as I said, you know, when it goes over the top, nothing really is too bad. It doesn't really affect the story, not too much. And you know, if it does anything, it's just really just Zaizen having fun. You know, messing with people, messing with the villains. When it gets serious, though, it delivers. You know, it does seriousness pretty nicely. And I'll admit, when the fan subs were being done, they went up to around episode 6. Episode 6 ended up on a really like twist of an end, a bit of a twist of an end. You were not expecting, you know, what happens at the end of episode 6. I won't say because it's a spoiler. Then unfortunately it took about a year for episode 7 to get subbed. Episode 7 got subbed, and that was a bit more of like the serious episode again. Of course, you know, return of Da Bomb. And it ends off on another cliffhanger. Not really a twist, but it ends up on a cliffhanger. And unfortunately, those last 4 episodes, 8, 9, 10... I'm sorry, last 5... No, 4. 8, 9, 10, and 11, sorry. I lost my mind for a little bit. 8 to 11 have never been fan-subbed. You know, there are Hong Kong DVDs, you know, where the English translation subtitle quality can be very hit and miss. I really do not want to use Hong Kong DVDs anymore. There are Japanese Region 2 DVDs that are raw, you know, no subtitles or anything. It's a bit expensive. But, you know, even in Japan, I think they realize this show is not going to appeal to everyone. Of course, this is definitely for an older audience. It's not like, you know, when I did Ring Keto 1, where it's kind of like, you know, you can go for like the younger audiences, and they also just go for people that like, you know, straight up action. For Zaizen Jotaro, this is definitely going to appeal more towards, you know, older audiences. The character designs, you could tell, seem maybe a little similar to Tetsuo Hara, you know, the creator, the artist for Fist of the North Star, Fist of the Blue Sky. Well, I don't remember unfortunately the manga's name, the manga creator's name. The guy does the art for the manga, but I believe he was an assistant to Tetsuo Hara, which explains why there's some similarities in terms of the character designs. And of course, it was published in Comic Bunch, you know, which Tetsuo Hara and Tsukasa Hojo, you know, who was the creator of City Hunter, they helped form Coamics, that company who runs a weekly Comic Bunch. Yeah, see, this is really hurting Mochizuki, because pretty much, yeah. See, Zaizen has to kind of cover for them, like, you idiot, you know, why are you crying? Yeah, see, now at this point, now he's insulting Mochizuki because, oh, he's dead, now I can insult. Zaizen's not going to stand for that. Because Mochizuki's going to be his ally now. You know, much like Zaizen, Mochizuki's now officially dead, shouldn't be around, so you can, you know, do stuff himself. But like I said, I mean, the first episode is definitely so over the top, and it's so bad. It's like, definitely, in my opinion, one of the worst first episodes ever. You know, a first episode should definitely give you a proper identification of what a show is like. The first episode just doesn't do that for the show. I'd still say you should watch the first episode. I know, it's really weird. Maybe if you feel watching this, you get an idea of who Zaizen is, but I just feel it kind of, if you start from episode 2, it'll maybe just rush you into the Zaizen character too much. It's really weird. I'd say, just watch the first episode, just enjoy it for how cheesy and how bad of a first episode it is. Just remember, it's not indicative of the entire show. And then from episode 2, unfortunately, it can't be fully subbed, so I know a lot of people probably aren't going to want to watch it because of that. But I'd definitely say give it a try. It's definitely a show that is, yeah, as you can see, he's kind of combined Desire's gold black card into like his badge as well. He shows that off, like, you know, this is my badge. I'm sorry, I made a mistake in the part 1. Suzuki is the head of the Oshiga Construction Company, and Matsuzaka is the member of parliament. Here is the ending. And just in time, the video is going to come. So, Moshimo umareta kawaratara moichido aishite kuremasu ka. So it's a long title for the ending. But that's a nice little, almost like a Santana-esque sounding song, except sung by a female. But yeah, as I said, this is a government crime investigation agent, Zaizen Jotaro, or Jotaro Zaizen, however you want to pronounce it, however you want to say his name. That's his part. That character I just saw was Zaizen's partner, who helped create the GCIA. You know, I of course couldn't show up every character in this one, unfortunately. Like Kiryu, who's pretty much the head of who's pretty much like the big, you know, killer in the Yakuza family, ends up becoming Zaizen's rival. He's pretty much a man that. He's a very emotional person. He's in a sense kind of an emotional person. If you get him to cry, there he is. There's Kiryu. If he cries, you're pretty much, you know, he's gonna try to hurt someone. He's very emotional. He likes, you know, works like Shakespeare and stuff. And that's actually a really cool moment when Zaizen and Kiryu first meet up. They're actually both drinking, and they're pretty much just doing like this drinking contest to see who can last longest. And in a sense, from that, they can see that they're both very equal rivals to each other. But, you know, as I said, I mean, you know, a lot of these reviews go off of just that first episode. And that first episode is not properly a proper, you know, identification of what the show is. I'd say, you know, this is not the quality level of bad. This is not Musashi Gundo comparable. This is a... Okay, I'm going to pause right here. Zaizen Jotaro is an enjoyable show. I mean, I would love to see those last 4 episodes. I guess in a sense, even if it was raw, if I have the ability to. I would love to see how this story ends off, and it's definitely a show that people just gave... The first episode gives a horrible first impression, and unfortunately, because of that first episode, no one really wants to give it a fair chance. That's why I'm doing this review. I want to give it the fair chance. I want to give it the fair shake. And I have to say, I mean, that first episode is one of the worst first episodes of all time. I think not even just in anime. But you get to the rest of the episodes, it definitely becomes a much more enjoyable show. I'd say, check out what's available to you. You might be surprised.